to another exciting episode of Topic Talks. I'm Red, this is
Bill.
And today we are going to talk about the topic of Texas succeeding the Union.
Okay, so right now we have the Texas nationalist movement that has been talked about since 1860. All right, I mean, this is something that's been talked about. There's always been groups of people in Texas that are trying to go back to a Republic of Texas.
And for those that don't know about our great state of Texas, we were actually our own country at one time.
Yes, we were. Before we became a state in the United States of America. So, starting as soon as we became a state, people have been talking about using our Constitution and using our laws and bylaws that we already have established in government and seceding from the United States. Now, we've done this one time before in 1862. 1861, we were the second state to secede from the Union at that particular moment, and we were the last state to come back to the Union. But,
in case you don't know, from 1861 to 1865 is the War of Northern Aggression, and where the southern states seceded from the Union and created the Confederate States of America. Just before I cut to me here today, we had stated that Texas was accepted back into the Union in 1865, which, after looking to verify that information, we were wrong. Now, the end of the Civil War was 1865, yes, but with the restoration of the Union, there were several protocols that a southern state had to obtain before they were allowed back into the Union or into the United States. But the stipulations were before politicians were allowed back in Congress, that Texas had to go through several steps to prove their loyalty, I guess you could say. And it wasn't until March of 1870 before Texas was allowed back into the United States. So that was a little tidbit that I had learned and wanted to pass that information along to you. So back to the regularly scheduled program.
Texas didn't actually want to become part of the Confederate States of America. They wanted just to secede and go their own way, but holding such a great populace and such a outstanding...
I kind of disagree with that. It was Sam Houston who didn't want to secede from the Union.
No, they wanted to secede from the Union.
They
wanted to secede from the Union, but they didn't want to join the Confederate States of America. They were more wanting to just stay out of it altogether, and they were able not to join in any conflict for almost a year. And then the Battle of Galveston, the ports and stuff being under siege by the United States Army or United States Navy caused them, and with the pressure from Mexico to our south, caused them to join into the War of Northern Aggression. So after that, Texas has always just wanted, there's been an underlying group of Texans who want to be self-governing and self-ruled, and then you have the other part of Texans that want to be part of something and part of the government. So the Texit movement is based on the Texas nationalist movement. They have really upped their game in the last few years and are to the point where we have delegates that go from Texas. We have delegates from the movement that have been going to the UN and trying to get the assurance that if Texas seceded, we would be recognized as our own sovereign country through the UN.
Well, here's a good question for you. Would we even viably be able to succeed from the Union? Like, do we have a course of action to maintain ourselves financially?
Yes, we do. So Texas is, right as of 2020, Texas has the third largest economy in the world. It has the second largest export in North America, and it has the first largest North American oil industry on this side of the planet. So physically, yes, if we were to secede from the United States, we have all our own infrastructure, we have our own power grid, we have our own water purification systems, we have our own government.
Well, and one interesting thing that I had read not too long ago about Texas is we would actually be saving money by coming out of the Union, because we put more money into the United States than we get out or get back from the United States.
Right, and you know, a lot of people like to say, you know, well, what if we have a national disaster, say like another Hurricane Harvey or something along those lines, and the money that we as a state, or the national resources that we would take from the United States in an incident like that is minuscule to what our state actually provides for itself. We do not. We use United States money, but we are not dependent on it. And the other aspect of that is people say, well, the United States would definitely put up a fight. The National Guard would be, well, you know, be brought up and everything like that. But Texas,
bring it on!
But Texas has its own Navy. It has its own National Guard. The Texas National Guard is, yes, it is a division of the United States Army National Guard, but they're the only ones that have a Texas patch on their shoulder, and it says Texas National Guard on there. On top of that, as of 2019, there's something along the lines of 62% of all military forces, that would be your Navy, your Army, your Air Force, your Coast Guard, they're actually out of Texas. Like the actual bodies that are out there, their home state is Texas. So Texas, it would be devastating to the United States economy immediately, which would cause conflict, the same as it did during the War of Northern Aggression. It would cause conflict because the United States depends more on Texas than Texas depends on the United States. And it is so dramatic in the numbers and the statistics wise that the United States would definitely not be like, oh, you know, we're like Montana could easily secede, and we would be like, oh, okay.
What, did we lose something?
But with the fact that the biggest hurdles would be the fact that the majority of the United States military are Texans, and the majority of a lot of the different economies are out of Texas. I mean, look at the airline industry. 6 out of the 9 major airlines that we have in the United States are based out of either Dallas or Houston.
Is that because of tax breaks?
Well, not only tax breaks, but because the National Aeronautics Space Industry is here out of Houston, just right up the road. That means that all developments, like even your black ops developments, say your Skunk Works and your Boeings and stuff like that, they're all headquartered out of Texas because the NASA, which oversees all aerospace technology, is based out of here. So that's where it starts becoming a very big political standpoint, and it's not so much so like I said, if we were New Mexico. I mean, nobody's going to really care if New Mexico was to pack up and leave. I mean,
well, and okay, just to put it out there, those that aren't from Texas and looking at this conversation from the outside looking in, you might be thinking that, oh, this is just a pride idea.
No, I wish I could say that.
But no, this is actually an idea or a movement towards thought. I know I've been involved in, or at least privy to, the knowledge that this exists for at least 20 years. Just kind of sitting on the sidelines. Yeah, I'm for it if you get it done. Hoorah kind of thing. But now I'm seeing more and more. And this was a question that I was asking Bill before we even started talking about this subject. Is this mainstream enough to even talk about?
Well,
and I think it is becoming mainstream enough to talk about it without sounding like we're one of those woohoo conspiracy theorist type people.
Well,
this is real. That's coming down the pike.
Well, look at it like this. In 1817, when Anglo-Americans started to colonize northern Mexico, all right, the state of Tejas, all right, they were talking about taking Texas at that time, and it took all the way till 1836.
Well, that even started before then, because Philip Nolan was killed in 1800.
Right.
And he was killed because the Spanish army thought him as a threat of trying to create a filibuster here in Texas.
So, I mean, this isn't anything new with Texas.
Right.
All right. This isn't like just all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, we don't like this president, or we don't like that president.
But we ain't gonna play in your play field anymore.
There is so many underlying issues involved in this that, and at this point, there's, when you get down to the basic government's standards of it, we've already got a constitution in place. We've already got our House of Representatives, our judicial system. So all our structural government entities are already in place. Not only that, but our economy is already in place. And then on top of that, it is so many people are behind it now that we have people going and flying abroad to go and discuss these matters with other nations, because the biggest thing is that if you revolt against your nationalized country that you belong behind, if you can't have other people back you up and recognize you as a country, because that's where the big difference becomes, is if you don't have someone or another country or a group of countries to recognize you as your own sovereign country, then all you are is starting
civil unrest.
That's
the difference between a civil war and a revolutionary war. Is if you fail, then it's considered a civil war. If you succeed, then it's a revolutionary war.
If you're interested in what I'm saying, or you would like to know more information about it, you can go to Texas Exit and put it together, and it's Texit. Texit, it's the Texit movement, or you can Google or look up the Texas Nationalist Movement. Now, I am not opposed to it, but then again, I would not want to go look for a fight, and so I say that the best thing for you to do is to take the information that Red and I have given you and go research it. Go look it up, because I'm not here to tell you how to think, but I am here to tell you that there are other options and there's other ways of thinking out there, and it's for you to go out and make your own decisions.
Correct. It's for you to decide what side that you're on. And we're not trying to play some sort of political move of moving you towards this direction or that direction. You know, I'm on the same side as Bill here. This isn't my fight. You know, I'm not looking to be in the middle of this fight. But if it comes down to Texas secession, yeah, I'll sign on the dotted line. I'm for it. But this is something that I've been watching for over 20 years, and
but the only reason I bring it up now is because in the last, say, year, I have had more and more and more people contact me personally because of things that I have been involved in, or people I know, or my name has come up in this conversation or that conversation, and so I've done my own research on it, and you know, it is a feasible option.
Yeah.
It's
even a legal option. You know, those that are out there, they can't leave. A state can't leave the union. Yes, we can.
A state can join the union, and a state can leave the union. Matter of fact, this upcoming year, we'll be voting on making Washington, D.C. a state, along with Puerto Rico and possibly the Bahamas, which would add 3 more states. So there is a lot of stuff that goes on behind that mainstream media does not cover, because it doesn't fit whatever agenda that they're trying to push. All I'm saying is make sure you go do your research. Make sure you double check. Thank you again. This has been a topic talk with Red and Bill. I hope you do your research. Please like, subscribe,
and
thumbs up, thumbs down.
Give us your opinion in the comment section below.